With us this morning, U.S. Ambassador Pamela Bridgewater and Voluntourism Executive, the Reverend Russell Awkard. How are you, ladies and gentlemen? Good morning.
Good morning, Rohan. How are you?
Let's get straight into it and ask, really. Before we get into the reason for your purpose here, along with the members of your congregation from the New Zion Baptist Church, Louisville, Kentucky, what's the reason, Ambassador, behind the voluntourism?
Well, first of all, the millions of tourists that visit your wonderful country every year. And I think the majority of them are certainly from the United States. And these people bring lots of talents, lots of skills, lots of know-how. And I was asked to speak at the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association Awards last year by the Director General, Carol Guttler. And I mentioned some areas of tourism that Jamaica might want to exploit more. And one of those was voluntourism, which of course is a play on volunteering and tourism. And that simply means that when you come on a vacation as a tourist, you perhaps will have an opportunity or a desire to do a good deed, to find some way to serve or do something in the community. I'll give you an example. There have been a group of doctors who've been coming here many years from the Gillette Children's Hospital in St. Paul, Minnesota. They have worked, they have volunteered doing operations at Bustamante, but they've never had a chance to tour. Yes. So we had to take care of them in the opposite direction. But for the many who come to see the sand and the sea, we want to give them an opportunity, if they want to provide a service.
Yes. Reverend, what is it that you're hoping to achieve here, though, in Jamaica?
Well, first of all, it's a privilege for the members of New Zion Baptist Church to come from Louisville, Kentucky, to be with the pastor's wife in a position serving here in Kingston and in Jamaica. And they wanted to come and to affirm and salute her and the work she's doing. As a component of this visit, they are adding on a day or two in Montego Bay, of course. But before going down, we also will be visiting the National Children's Home and performing some volunteer services there on Saturday morning.
We talk about our tourism, and that it's one of our flagship products, if you will, and the efforts being put into ensuring that it remains robust. What aspects of our product that yourself and the congregation will be hoping to enjoy?
As far as the tourism aspect, we will see the significant sites, visit places here in Kingston, which many of the tourists who go to the North Coast don't get to enjoy and experience. Of course, the Bob Marley Museum is on our site. Devon House.
Oh, yes.
And the ice cream.
Yes.
They serve the best ice cream in the world.
Yes.
Oddly enough, my favorite is rum raisin.
Yes.
And so
we're going to send you also down to Trelawney to get some of them yams and stuff like that too.
The yellow yams?
Absolutely.
We'll also go to the National Heroes Park, the Emancipation Park. And on Sunday we will worship at the Family Church on the Rock.
Is Jamaica the only area in the Caribbean and by and large the world that you put this in practice?
Well, we've been involved in Jamaica for years. Back in the mid-90s, our church was involved with helping to launch a mission project on the North Coast in the Trinity Evangelistic Ministries. And then, of course, there have been places where we have had mission work on the continent of Africa, several countries. But also, in this particular instance, this is an extension of our church ministry because the pastor's wife is here serving in this very important position.
Yeah. Talk to us about the tourism industry, Ambassador, and the strengthening of ties between Jamaica and the U.S.
Well, certainly tourism, we know the importance of it in Jamaica. It's an important entity for the United States also. So like any product, you always want to refine it. You always want to make it better. And Jamaica has received so many awards for its tourism product internationally and within the Caribbean. So let's make Jamaica a leader in voluntourism. Let's make Jamaica a leader in health tourism. I believe someone talked about that yesterday. So I think the key is to exploit areas yet untouched because it's a win-win situation for the tourists. You know, for example, there's lots of people who are retirees, and they've built up a whole lot of expertise over the years, and they just might want to have an opportunity to engage in that, to sort of keep their hands in the water. So why not do a good deed and have a good time?
Yeah. I know it's certainly not your concern, but do you believe that, looking on that, we are doing sufficient, we're doing enough in terms of, encouraging people to come to Jamaica?
Well, I think that in discussions with your tourism ministry and the tourist board, they were very, very excited that we were going to launch a voluntourism, sort of an official voluntourism, because there have been many, many American groups, medical groups, who've been coming for years, but they haven't had a chance to really capitalize and let everybody know just what this has meant to the country. I chatted with the health minister a while back, and he gave me a staggering number of U.S. groups just alone who've been coming for years and years. But it's not just for our country. Let's reach out to other markets. Let's reach out to UK citizens, to citizens of Canada, to citizens who come to Jamaica from all over the world. May not necessarily be a great large number, but they have something to give. And I think that strengthens the bonds, not just between the United States and Jamaica, but between Jamaica and other countries around the world too.
Absolutely. How is it that people, if the average person would want to get involved with this exercise, how do they go about doing so?
Well, the involvement of our church is really an extension of what we've been doing here for several years under the auspices of the embassy and the U.S. ambassador. The holiday time is a time when the children, of course, look for gifts, and our church has sent loads of gifts for these same children, of others, and so this will give them an opportunity from the membership's perspective to actually have a direct, hands-on involvement with what they've been doing long distance and overseas.
Is this an ongoing exercise, or is it just for this period? Is it something that you hope to replicate further down the road, or?
Well, we are involved in several causes, both internationally as well as locally. And so projects are always available, and whenever we can involve ourselves, we try to respond.
Reverend Awkard, we want to thank you so very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you,
and
sir.
Ambassador.
Thank you, Rohan, very much for the opportunity.
For sharing this information with us.